Hello, good morning all. This is a subject of refrigeration and air conditioning. This subject is for a 6th semester mechanical engineering diploma students. Next. I am Abdul Salam PK, head of department in mechanical engineering, working at Kerala Government Polytechnic College, West Hill, Kozhikode. Next. Today I am presenting a topic on psychrometry. This is the third module of our refrigeration and air conditioning. In the third module, the part 1 is psychrometry. What is psychrometry? It is a branch of engineering science which deals with the study of moist air, that is dry air mixed with water vapor. This is psychrometry. Next. Before going to details of psychrometry, we have to study some definitions of psychrometry. The first one is dry air. What is dry air? We know the pure dry air, it is a mixture of number of gases like nitrogen, oxygen, carbon dioxide, hydrogen, neon, helium, and some inert gases. That is dry air. Next is moist air. Moist air means it is a mixture of dry air and water vapor. When water vapor is mixed with this dry air, we can say it is moist air. And next topic is saturated air. Saturated air is the mixture of dry air and water vapor. That is when the air has diffused the maximum amount of water vapor into it. When maximum amount of water vapor is diffused in a dry air, it is called saturated air. Next topic is definition is degree of saturation. Degree of saturation is the degree, it is the ratio of actual amount of water vapor present in an air to the mass of water vapor required to saturate it. It is a ratio of actual amount of water vapor present in air to the mass of water vapor required to saturate it. Always all air are not saturated. So this is how much it is saturated is degree of saturation. Next. Next definition is dry bulb temperature. Dry bulb temperature is the temperature of an air recorded by an ordinary thermometer. That is temperature recorded by a thermometer. Simply temperature, we can say some temperature. It is in psychometric terms, it is dry bulb temperature. And another temperature is here, that is wet bulb temperature. It is the temperature recorded by a thermometer when its bulb is surrounded by a wet cloth. In some thermometers, its bulb is surrounded by wet cloth. At that time, it records some other temperature. That is for our psychometry purposes that we will study later in our psychrometer. Next is dew point temperature. It is the temperature of air recorded by a thermometer when the moisture present in it begins to condense. It is a point where the moisture begins to condense in a saturated air always. At that temperature is called dew point temperature, or when the dew starts to form, it is called dew point temperature. Another definition is there is a law, that is Dalton's law. Dalton's law of partial pressure. That means there is a law is total pressure exerted by a mixture of air and water vapor is equal to the sum of pressures which each constituent would exert if it occupies the same space. That is, if a moisture occupies in a cylinder, in a moisture or any gas occupies in a two gases occupies in separate cylinders having some pressures, when it mixed and fill into the same volume, the total pressure exerted is the sum of the pressures each would exert in the same space. That is Dalton's law of partial pressure. And absolute humidity. It is the mass of water vapor present in 1 meter cube of dry air and is expressed in gram per meter cube. that is absolute humidity, mass of water vapor present in 1 meter cube of air. Another term is humidity or specific humidity or humidity ratio moisture content. It is known in 3 or 4 names. Actually, it is the ratio of mass of water vapor to the mass of dry air in a volume of air vapor mixer. Ratio of mass of water vapor to the mass of dry air in a volume of air vapor mixer. How much humidity is there? Normally, it is expressed in percentage. Next is enthalpy of moist air. Enthalpy. Enthalpy means total heat. Total heat means when heat is absorbing by a substance, it may be divided into two, that is sensible heat and latent heat. Here the enthalpy means sensible heat plus latent heat of air and water vapor. Total heat is actually the enthalpy is the total heat. Next, we can go to a meter, that is psychrometer. Psychrometer is an instrument to measure the psychrometric conditions of atmospheric air. In atmospheric air, there are we have to understand or measure some psychrometric properties and parameters. We are using psychrometer for that purpose. The function of a psychrometer is to measure the psychrometric condition of atmospheric air. Here, a sling psychrometer normally using consists of two thermometers. Having two thermometers, the bulb of one is surrounded with a wet cloth and is called a wet bulb. The other is free and it is called a dry bulb. There are two thermometers fitted on the psychrometer. One is free and normal thermometer. The second one is surrounded by a wet cloth. Two thermometers. The temperature difference between two thermometers we are noting that temperature depends upon the amount of moisture in the air or atmosphere or ambient air that has low moisture content has a low wet bulb temperature. Here recording two temperatures. One is dry bulb temperature, that is normal temperature of the surface or atmosphere, and another one is thermometer is surrounded by wet cloth recording another temperature. That temperature is always low when moisture content has low wet bulb temperature. If the moisture content in the air that has low moisture content has a low wet bulb temperature. Next slide. Here it is shown a figure of sling psychrometer. Sling psychrometer, as you can see, a handle is there and two thermometers are there. One is ordinary thermometer and another one is, both are ordinary thermometer, but the one of the bulb is surrounded by a wet cloth. And by rotating this psychrometer in the atmosphere, it will cross or cut the atmospheric air and record the temperatures. Now, if the temperature is low, in the wet bulb temperature is low, it understand that the atmosphere has low moisture content or humidity. We can say it is humidity. There are some other type of psychrometers are there. Digital psychrometers are nowadays available. Next slide. We can come to a chart. It is recorded. Psychrometric properties are drawn in a chart or graph. It is actually called a psychrometric chart. Here a model of graph is shown. Psychrometric chart is shown. In the psychrometric chart, the x-axis, normally simply we can say x-axis is marked as dry bulb temperature. The temperature is marked a normal temperature marking on the x-axis, and y-axis is moisture content or humidity, relative humidity or moisture content. And Some more lines or graphs are there in this psychrometric chart that are relative humidity line and moisture dew point line, wet bulb temperature line, specific volume lines, and saturation line, relative humidity lines are also there. More than 8 types of graphs or lines are there in a psychrometric chart. All these are plotted by noting the psychrometric properties of a substance or content or moisture. Next slide. In the next slide also, these graphs are shown in detail. Here dry bulb temperature are there in from left to right. It is increasing manner, dry bulb temperature, and the moisture content is in y-axis. It is increasing from bottom to top, and relative humidity lines are there, dew point lines are there, wet bulb temperature lines are there, volume or specific volume lines are there, enthalpy lines are also there, and one more point is vapor pressure is also indicated in this psychrometric chart. Next. We can come to the psychrometric processes. All processes related with this moist air may be termed as psychrometric processes. The psychrometric processes are major psychrometric processes included in our syllabus is mixing of airstream. One is mixing of airstream, and another one is sensible heating and sensible cooling. Next one is cooling and dehumidification, and heating and dehumidification. In our syllabus included 5 types of psychrometric processes. Next. Mixing of air stream. Simply mixing, that is adiabatically, technically or thermally we can say adiabatically at constant total moisture content. There is no addition of heat or removal of heat in many places in refrigeration and air conditioning. Next. This process is shown using a diagram, 2 diagrams. One is a simple diagram coming 2 air streams from 2 sides that may be marked as M1, W1 and H1, and air is coming from other side, M2, W2, H2, and mixed, and it come out with some other properties, that is M3, W3 and H3. This process is shown using a psychrometric chart in the right side. That is, in the psychrometric chart, the property is marked as the first point 1, that is the coming air 1. At that point, having temperature TD1 and moisture content W1. And the second stream of air is marked as 2, and it is TD2 and W2. Both are mixed and achieved in an average value that is marked in the psychrometric chart at the point 3. That is the final result of our air stream. Normally, both these air may be different temperature, different mass, different volume, and different moisture content. Both are mixed and achieving in another value or an average value. It is marked in the diagram. M is the mass of air, W is the specific humidity or humidity, and H is the enthalpy. Enthalpy is also changing. Enthalpy means the total heat. Here we can take a ratio M1 by M2 is equal to W3 minus W2 divided by W1 minus W3. That is H3 minus H2 divided by H1 minus H3. That is a ratio. Sensible heating. Another process is sensible heating. Simply we can think about the heating. What is heating? Here it is called, in psychometry it is called sensible heating. In sensible heating, air passes over a heating coil, which is at a high temperature marked as TDB3, T temperature dry bulb 3, which is greater than the dry bulb temperature of the entering air. Air is coming over a heating coil. Heating coil have higher temperature, and normally the entering air have lower temperature. Heating coil are higher temperature. The lowering air have a temperature of TDB1. Temperature dB means dry bulb 1, or dry bulb temperature at the first point. In this process, the dry bulb temperature of air rises and approaches that of surface temperature of heating coil, and it reaches an intermediate temperature TDB2, another temperature. Normally, the entering air has low temperature. It reaches or it approaches that surface. It comes across a coil, heating coil. The figure we can show next slide. Surface of a temperature, surface temperature of a heating coil, and it not reaches to that temperature. It reaches only an intermediate temperature. In a psychometry chart, the process will appear as a horizontal line from 1 to 2, as shown in the below slide. Normally, it is a horizontal line. Next. Here, the heating process is shown using two diagrams. One is a physical diagram. In this, a heating coil is shown here. A heating coil number marked as 3. Heating coil is, the name is shown. And in this conduit, the air is coming, that is 1. Air is coming across this heating coil. The coil have high heat or higher temperature, and it comes out, air out 2. This have another temperature. Air coming in lower temperature, the heating coil have higher temperature, and the air out is reaches another temperature. This process is shown using a psychometric chart. Here, I told that the operation is in the psychometric chart shown as a horizontal line from left to right. Why? From left to right, we know temperature is increasing. Here also, when heating, what happens? Temperature is increasing. Temperature of the air, entering air, is marked as 1, first point. And the temperature of the heating coil is this 3, the higher temperature, TDB3, higher temperature. Our aim is to reach this temperature. Aim of the entering air to reach this third temperature, but it cannot reach. It only reaches up to the second point, 2, that is TDB2. Up to that temperature, only can reach the temperature of the air by heating. There are some reasons are there, we can say. Here, the enthalpy also is marked in the same time. This is the enthalpy of first entering air. This is the enthalpy of the heating coil, and we can reach only up to this enthalpy. This is the representing method of the psychometry processes in the psychometry chart. Here is a horizontal line from left to right, because the temperature is increasing. There is no addition or removal of moisture, so it is purely horizontal. Another term is here coming, bypass factor. Bypass factor is, I mentioned that the temperature temperature of the entering air not reaches up to the temperature of the heating surface or heating surface of the coil. Some quantity of the air bypasses the coil, and it cannot reach the temperature. So here a bypass factor is considering that it's a ratio of difference between surface temperature of coil and leaving air temperature to the difference between the surface temperature and entering air temperature. That is shown, BF, bypass factor, is equal to TDB3 minus TDB2 divided by, the symbol is that, divided by TDB3 minus TDB1. That's a ratio between these two temperature differences. Next. Next operation is sensible cooling. Sensible cooling means it's a cooling operation. Here also an air is passes over a cooling coil, which is at a temperature less than the trial temperature of the entering air and greater than the dew point temperature. That's another concept, dew point temperature, which cannot form the dew. In this process, the tribal temperature of air decreases and approaches that of surface temperature of the cooling coil, and it reaches an intermediate temperature. That is TdB through, like in our heating, here also reaches an intermediate temperature, but here the process is cooling. On the psychrometry chart, we can represent this process similarly in heating and using a horizontal line. In psychrometry chart, the process will appear as a horizontal line from 1 to 2 as shown in the next slide. That is from right to left. Next slide. This is the figure of sensible cooling, or simply we can cooling. Here also a cooling coil is there. Cooling coil is there. The temperature of this cooling coil is very low than the entering air because we require the cooling process. So air is coming, entering air is marked as 1, and the surface temperature of the cooling coil is 3, and the air out is 2. This operation is shown using a psychrometry chart. That is, this is the first point 1. 1 is marked, that is a property of entering air. That may be higher temperature, and the 3 is the temperature of the cooling surface or cooling coil. That is a lower temperature. In psychrometry chart, we know from coming from right to left, temperature is decreasing. So we can mark this process as a horizontal line from right to left. The arrow is shown like that. Our aim is to decrease the temperature of entering air to the surface temperature of the cooling coil. But normally it is impossible. It reaches only an intermediate temperature that is marked as 0.2. The temperature is TdB2, temperature dry bulb 2, and the corresponding enthalpy is marked as H2. This is a cooling process. Here also some quantity of air bypasses the cooling coil. We cannot reach the temperature of the entering air up to the temperature of the surface temperature of the cooling coil. Next. Here bypass factor we can shown as temperature, dye bulb temperature of the second temperature minus TdB3 divided by TdB1 minus TdB3. These are the equations you have to note and study and apply when you are solving the problems using psychrometry. We have to calculate the bypass factor and other terms are there in the psychrometry process or psychrometric part. You have to study these equations and use for solving the problems. Next. Next operation is a combined operation, that is cooling and dehumidification. This process is happening in a summer air conditioner. We have air conditioners. What happens in the air conditioner? In an air conditioner, so many processes are happening. Cooling is there. We are understanding only cooling. No, cooling is there, dehumidification is there, purification of air is there, and the flowing or compression of the air is also there. There are an air conditioner is doing the 4 major operations. One is cooling, normal summer air conditioner, cooling, and another one is dehumidification and airflow and purification of the air. Here the mechanical operation is the cooling and dehumidification. The cooling is carried out by a cooling coil like evaporator of a refrigeration system. You have already studied that in a refrigeration system, vapor compression system, For mechanical system, there are a part evaporator in a refrigerator or air conditioner. We can use this cooling coil, this evaporator as cooling coil for this refrigeration system cooling. And dehumidification is achieved by controlling the quantity of moisture using some devices. We are using some devices to control or dehumidify the air. Both these processes are happening in a summer air conditioner. Next. This process is shown using diagrams, cooling and dehumidification. Here also we know for cooling coil is required. We are taking in a summer air conditioner this cooling coil as a evaporator of our refrigeration system. You know what is evaporator? Through evaporator coil, a refrigerant is flowing. This refrigerant is absorbing the heat from the adjoining or from the surface, and it evaporates or it becomes vapor and it flows towards the compressor. Here also, this cooling coil, our purpose is to cool the entering air. When the air is coming across this cooling coil, what happens? The air become cool. And the another operation is dehumidification is also here. The humidity is also controlling. Or dehumidification means decreasing the value of quantity of water content or moisture content. When the comfortness only getting or achieving by cooling and dehumidification. We know air conditioners are comforting devices. Cooling, not only cooling, but also dehumidification is also carried out. The amount of water vapor increases or high in the cooled air, the discomfort will feel. For that, we are decreasing the quantity of moisture in this content or in the air. That process is called dehumidification. That may be carried out by using some devices by absorbing the moisture content into the required level or quantity. The second figure is shown using the psychrometric chart. We know the psychrometric chart, dry bulb temperature is there. This the first point is shown. The property of entering air is shown in the first point, and the process is first is dehumidification. How we can dehumidify? By decreasing the moisture content. That is from the graph is coming from top to bottom by decreasing the humidity W. Delta W is shown there, and the next process is cooling. Cooling is from right to left. That is from that point to or H1, H2. Second point to 4, temperature TDB4. Both operations are marked separately. One is decreasing the humidity, delta W, and next is the cooling, decreasing the temperature. Finally, it reaches at the point 4. That is drawn directly from point 1 to 4 in a bold line in the figure. That is the process. The resultant point is 4. Our aim is to reach the temperature up to the third point, that is the surface temperature of the cooling coil. That cannot achieve. Only we can reach up to the 4th point, that is marked as 4. The temperature, the corresponding temperature is TDB4 is marked, and the corresponding enthalpy is H4. This is a cooling and a dehumidification process. This can be represented using in a psychrometric chart like this. Separately, we can draw the lines, and the resultant line can be drawn using by completing that triangle. Next. The cooling and dehumidification process, the total heat removed, we can show using enthalpy. Totally we can say that is H1 minus H4. The entering point is H1 and the final point is H4. So the H1 is the highest temperature and H4 is the final temperature. That may be split up into two. That is H1 is H1 minus H1 dash, that is shown in the figure, in the former figure. That plus H1 dash minus H4. We can split into two. That is, actually, we are mentioned there are two types of heat, latent heat and sensible heat. The first part is latent heat, H1 minus H1 dash. This plus and H1 dash minus H4. That is, this is the total heat removed. And the ratio of this sensible heat to the latent heat is called sensible heat factor. One more ratio is there, the SHF. We have to calculate these values using psychometric chart and when we are coming across the problem solution in this topic. Sensible heat factor. What is sensible heat factor? Sensible heat factor is sensible heat divided by latent heat. It is a ratio between sensible heat and latent heat, or by simplifying or by splitting, sensible heat factor is equal to sensible heat divided by latent heat means sensible heat plus latent heat. The total heat is sensible heat plus latent heat. The sensible heat factor is the ratio between sensible heat and total heat. Next. Another operation is heating and humidification. Here the process is heating. When the heating is required, in some air conditioner, heating is required. That is winter air conditioner. That is called winter air conditioner. In some countries, hot countries, cold countries, or during winter season, the heating is required. At that time or at that places, we are using this type of air conditioner. Here, the process is happening in a winter air conditioner. Heating is carried out by heating coil, and a humidification is achieved by spraying water or humidifier. Here, the heating is required. How heating is carried out? Heating is carried out by an electrical coil, electrical heating, electrical method, or steam tubes, or steam have high heat, we know. By using steam coils or electrical coils, we can heat the surface of the room. And humidification is achieved by spraying water or using an humidifier. Humidification means increase in the vapor content. For that, we are spraying the water or can use a humidifier. In this process, air increases its specific humidity and enthalpy. We know here it is the process heating and humidifying. Definitely increasing the heat. So we can say the enthalpy is increasing. Enthalpy means total heat. And also the specific humidity is also increasing in this process. Next. This process is shown using a slide, heating and humidification. Here in the psychometric chart, you can show this this process using psychometric chart. Here, heating and humidification. What happens when humidifying? The entering air point is shown as 1. This is the first point, 1. And our aim is to reach the temperature. Temperature decreases, temperature increases, and the humidity increases. Here the property of the first point of the property of the first point, and the here heating is happening. When heating, we know the temperature increasing by, and humidifying the water content or moisture content is also increasing. It reaches from 1 to 4. So finally, it reaches from 1 to 4. The process is shown using the graph 1 to 4. The other points are we have not much important. Our aim is heating and humidification. Temperature is increasing and humidity is also increasing in this process. Next. Next one is sensible heat factor, SHF, and efficiency of oils. The total heat added during a psychrometry process may be split up into sensible heat and latent heat. We know we are adding heat onto a substance or space. We are adding, we can divide this total heat into sensible heat and latent heat. We already studied about the sensible heat and latent heat. What is sensible heat? Sensible heat simply it can sense using a thermometer. The temperature rises at that time. For example, take a ice cube in a beaker and add heat. Or when ice is heating, normally what happens? We are putting a thermometer in that crucible or beaker. What happens? When we are adding the heat to the ice, what happens? Normally, this ice melt and become water. At that time, heat is given. Heat is absorbed by the ice. What happens that heat? What about the thermometer? Thermometer is not increasing any temperature, or it is not recording any temperature. That is in, theoretically, it is in 0 degrees centigrade. So what happens to the heat added? The full of the heat is taking for changing the state from solid to water. Ice is in solid state, it converted into water. At that time, the heat, absorbed heat is called latent heat. Latent heat is absorbed. This latent heat cannot read using a thermometer. Further, we are adding or continuing this heating process into this water. By adding heat into this water or continuing, what happens? The temperature of the water increases. At that time, you look into the thermometer. What happens? Thermometer increases, or the value is increases, or the temperature of the water is increases. It is recorded by the thermometer. Up to which temperature? Up to 100 degrees centigrade. The temperature increases. We are keeping on adding heat to this water. After 100 degrees centigrade, what happens? The water starts to boil. Boil means it converts into from liquid state to vapor state. When it starts to change its state from water to liquid to vapor state, you note the reading of the thermometer. Thermometer will not change. It keeps 100 degrees centigrade theoretically. Up to full of the water is converted into vapor state. That heat is called latent heat. Here it is for vaporization. It is called a latent heat of vaporization. In the former case, when ice become melt into water, it is called a latent heat of fusion. Latent heats are two types: latent heat of fusion and a latent heat of vaporization. Sensible heat is nothing but it directly senses the thermometer. This is about the sensible heat and latent heat. The ratio of next thing is the ratio of sensible heat to total heat is known as sensible heat factor, SHF. SHF means is equal to SHF, SH divided by TH. SH means sensible heat divided by total heat. That is again equal to sensible heat divided by sensible heat plus latent heat. Another term is bypass factor is coming here. The term 1 minus bypass factor is known as efficiency or contact factor. We are already studied the term bypass factor. When we are subtracting bypass factors from the value 1, it is called the efficiency of the coil, of the cooling coil or heating coil, or maybe it is called a contact factor also. Efficiency 1 minus bypass factor of the coil. Next. Here the efficiency is written. Efficiency of heating coil is equal to 1 minus bypass factor. What is 1 bypass factor? Bypass factor we have already studied. 1 minus TD3 minus TD2 all divided by TD3 minus TD1. All these temperatures you know. That is again equal to, finally, by simplifying it reaches TD2 minus TD1 divided by TD3 minus TD1. And efficiency of cooling coil. When we are coming for cooling coil, here also the equation is same, 1 minus bypass factor, but the equation for bypass factor is substituted 1 minus TD2 minus TD3 divided by TD1 minus TD2. By simplifying, we get TD1 minus TD2 divided by TD1 minus TD3. All these equations you have to study and use for solving the problems in our topic. This is the end of this topic. Thank you to all. Thank you again.